Craig Brown's new book, The Voyage Around the Queen, is being serialized in the Mail. One of the revelations leaked so far is that the Queen apparently didn't particularly like Trump. Not to be outdone, Sarah Vine wants us all to know that she was once at a dinner party where both Trump and the Queen were present and has proceeded to write about 1,500 words telling us all about it. Ian, can you give us some insight?
So basically, Sarah Vine has written a full page for a story that can be summed up pretty quickly, which is the Queen didn't really like Trump, which also isn't...
We think.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like Trump's one of the few people she's given like a very clear indication that she doesn't like, calling him very rude. And in what I think is sort of quite arrogant, really, the Queen says the thing she didn't like about him is that she could see him sort of looking over her shoulder for someone more interesting. But I don't know if I would like to be stuck with the Queen at a party. I feel like I think at first you'd be like, wow, this is amazing. But
is this not treason, what you're doing right now?
Not anymore. I'd love to be stuck with the King. And that makes it okay. But I feel like because she is quite guarded, like what you would want to ask the Queen is like, who's the worst person you've met? This is all the things you want to go like ask her. What do you really think about this? And she'd kind of be like, oh, well, one must... And you'd be like, oh, don't give me that. So I think I would be looking over... There'd be incredible people invited to those sort of parties. So you'd be like, that's Sir Stephen Redgrave. Maybe I could ask him. He's not going to go, well, one shouldn't say when I'm asking about his rowing technique or something.
Don't you think, though, that no matter who you're talking to, if you are engaged in conversation with someone, it's kind of rude to look over their shoulder?
Yes. But I would say there'd be an exception for like...
The Queen.
Like if Tom Cruise was stood in the corner of the podcast studio,
right,
I think I'd be looking at him. Also, largely because I'd be like, what the hell is he doing there?
Also, not that I would ever defend Donald Trump, but isn't the Queen very small? And isn't Donald Trump quite tall? So could he sort of, accidentally be looking over her shoulder? Is
it her fault for not wearing sort of a more padded shoulder?
High heels. yeah, precisely.
So she kind of talks about some of the things the Queen has said. A story that I do like is about Vladimir Putin being 15 minutes late, which isn't the worst thing he's done. And when he arrived, David Blunkett's guide dog started barking, and he apologized to the Queen, and she replied, dogs have interesting instincts, don't they?
That's shade, isn't it?
Yeah. But that's the most... Like, one thing that I think feels really dull is Sarah says she had a brilliant way of making her feelings known via a few carefully chosen phrases. Perhaps her most famous one was, recollections may vary, her withering response to the Duke and Duchess of Sussex's preposterous Oprah Winfrey interview in 2021. I feel like that's not a good bit of shade.
No, she could have done better.
Yeah. So, there's just a lot of... I think a lot of people like to talk about, like, oh, the Queen had a very droll wit. But then the quotes, and they're rarely laugh out loud, sort of thigh slappers. Again, no disrespect.
Well, if you were the Queen trying to do your job, you'd have a terrible time because you wouldn't know whether the laughter was genuine or sort of sycophantic.
Yeah. But I guess I would enjoy it because I'd be like, I'm killing every gig.
That's the main thing. And this Sarah Vine piece ends with the fascinating revelation that apparently the Queen was mildly put out that someone had left a door open at the end of this event, which she then puts down to the fact that actually she was very annoyed with Donald Trump and the door was just the final straw.
Yeah, so she was taking all her anger out at the door and being like, someone needs to close that fucking door. That bright orange fucking door. Doesn't even fucking talk any sense. Right-wing racist door. She started saying all sorts of stuff like that, apparently.